Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. After providing free rides all summer, Detroit's new QLine is now charging passengers. The 4-month promotion gave M1 Rail the chance to improve service on the streetcar system based on feedback from riders. As a result, wait times have been reduced and the QLine's predicted arrival times are more accurate. Over 500,000 free rides were given away since May, and last month, ridership averaged more than 5,500 people a day. Joining me now is the COO of M1 Rail, Paul Childs, along with the VP of External Operations, Summer Woods. Welcome back to American Black Journal, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess we did this 2 years ago. They told me. I don't remember it, but whatever. Welcome back. But at least now we have something specific to talk about. The train is up and it's running. Talk about how this week has gone with the debut of charging for rides.
It went well. I guess we'd have to say that our biggest single surprise was that some of the public was surprised that we were charging.
Yeah.
We thought we got the message out, but apparently not everybody was reading or paying attention.
Right?
Yeah, right. So we should have done a little bit better job with that. But aside from that, just finishing up with the Jazz Fest, which was a big change for us and for everybody, and we understand that. Coming into operations on Tuesday morning, our early morning ridership was definitely caught off guard.
Is that right?
And then I think one of the things that Summer had done in her plan was to put ambassadors out on each one of the cars to help to help not necessarily enforce anything, but it was more to use all of the equipment.
Here's how it works.
Here's how it works. Here's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And by the time we got them out there, I think people got the message a lot quicker.
Yeah.
They were out there with their QLine shirts on, and we sent out a good message, and we kept them out there till the evening. So.
Yeah. The ridership so far is higher, I think, than we predicted it would be, but there have been some glitches with times and trains running on time. Talk about the things that you guys learned about that and tried to adapt to over the last 6 months.
So we learned a lot, actually, with all of the social media and phone calls and people, definitely letting us know how they feel about operations. We feel it's important to have a good product so that people can understand transit from a holistic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit earlier as it relates to just the Regional Transit Authority. For people to really believe in transit, they have to be able to see it, to believe it, to trust in it. And that's what we want to do with this particular project. And we've been able to do that through, just a lot of different things. The operators, the drivers, for them to get acclimated to people and those types of things. All that makes a difference in terms of how we've made a lot of different improvements.
Yeah, the wait times for the train, initially people were pretty exercised about that. Talk about what you've done to try to bring those wait times down.
So we've done a couple of different things. One is that we have more streetcars in rotation. We have a better gauge as it relates to when our ridership numbers are actually where they are and where they stand.
Which is something you couldn't have predicted,
absolutely.
Right? You had to wait to see.
You had to see what the people wanted and what the demand was.
Yeah.
Obviously, the comfortability of our operators, for them to feel comfortable in terms of actually, driving and making sure they're within the speed limit and getting to those stops. And then also as it relates to, if we don't have to stop, then we don't need to stop. We're able to proceed on and try to gain some headway that way as well. But now it's a lot more efficient because everyone's feeling more comfortable as well.
Yeah. So I have a great idea about how to make the QLine work perfectly and more efficiently. I think we should, and I'm dead serious about this, I think there should not be car traffic on Woodward south of Grand Circus Park, because that's where the street narrows. I see both of you laughing, but that's where the street narrows, and that's where the negotiation between the train and the cars are getting around Campus Martius and stuff like that. That's where it seems to bog down a bit. Everyone I say this to laughs at me and says, you're insane, you'll never get that done. But it does seem like creating a more walkable downtown is one of the things that might help the train. Do you think that's right?
Stephen, I think you got to smile because we've had this conversation.
Have you had
Yes, we have. We've had this conversation. So
great minds think alike.
You have a career in transit, right? Whenever you're open to it.
Right.
But yeah, we've had that conversation, and it is difficult once you get inside the 4 lanes downtown.
Yeah.
And again, if you saw what happened like during Jazz Fest with all the programming that goes on down there, it's not, even if we weren't there.
Right.
motor vehicle traffic
it doesn't
is difficult.
make sense.
Pedestrian traffic, it's difficult. It's very, very hard for everybody.
Yeah.
So it is a tight area. And we've worked with all of our partners. We worked with the city and the state, all right, in terms of the mobility issues. And there's more discussions on it every day.
Yeah.
Because the city's learning. One of the things that we said early on is that we have to learn what our customers want, but the customers also have to learn to interact with us.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in, what, 60 years, that we've had to think about the idea of train traffic on a major street like Woodward. Let's talk about the future. I predicted when the line opened, I said pretty soon after that, we would likely see, I think the Jefferson line is the one that makes the most sense next, getting out to Grosse Pointe. How soon is something like that likely to start being discussed here in Detroit?
That's a decision, I think, that really rests. If we can get a regional piece put through first, get the RTA put in place. They've got a master plan. And that'll obviously be voted on by the public at the next referendum. From our perspective, we always wanted to be a catalyst. We always wanted to be a demonstration project, and also functional for the entire community. One of the things I tell people is as soon as they pick a route, then I kind of ask them where they live, and it's amazing how where they live and where the next route should be aligned.
Right. See,
I like Jefferson.
That's shocking, right?
Jefferson is great. I live across the street from Belle Isle.
Yeah, right. I was surprised to learn that.
I was voting on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, is that right?
I think there's other people who
See,
vote on Woodward.
I live on Woodward, so I'm already taken care of.
You're good. Right. Absolutely.
Summer, talk about one of the things that we expected from this was, of course, the sort of spin-off, right? The stations themselves and the line would get people excited about doing other things in Detroit. And, you know, it's early, right? We've only had a couple months. My observation as someone who lives down there is that there is more foot traffic all hours of the day, in fact, than we had before. How much of that do you think is about the QLine? I mean, did you guys make that much of a difference that quickly?
Yeah, I think for some businesses, they definitely have seen the return of their investment, their locations. I mean, you have, surprisingly, I think everyone knew Congress was going to be a popular spot because it's downtown. But the Boulevard, Grand Boulevard is a popular spot. You have a lot of people that are obviously, parking is probably a little less expensive up that way. But you also have people that are kind of starting to move out of the arteries. But Canfield is a very popular hotspot.
Interesting.
Yes, because you'll notice when people get off at the Canfield stop, yes, you do have a brewery that's right there. Right. But you'll see a lot of people walking to Cass and to Third. I mean, you see a little bit more activity. So that's like they're right there with Congress actually in terms of our numbers. I mean, it's not too far off in terms of boarding and unboarding at Canfield. So it's a popular stop.
One of the criticisms is also that these trains break down, that the system would be unreliable. That other cities have had a hard time with similar systems. Cincinnati, I think, is one of the cities that ran into trouble. How much of that has come true so far?
So I will tell you that our vehicles have been exceedingly reliable. The battery operation has exceeded our expectations. When we designed the system, we were 60% off wire. We're operating 80% off wire.
And when you say off wire, that means
on batteries. So we're not reaching up and grabbing the can.
Right.
So 80% of the route, even during the festivals and whatnot, we can still do that. It's been an amazing challenge, okay, in order to make all of that work, and it speaks to where the technology is at today, and it can even go further. So our car availability has been great. Probably one of the biggest things that we struggle with in explaining to people is if something's blocking our tracks.
And that's happened a couple times that I've seen.
A lot.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
Because Detroiters are used to I'm only going to be a minute.
I'm just going to stop.
I'm just going to go in. I'll be right back out. I'm picking up whatever I'm going to pick up, or I'm going to drop somebody off. And when you're trying to run 5 cars, if you think about it almost in a circle, if you stop one, right, you really need to think about slowing down
everything
the other
else
4.
Has to,
Otherwise, we bunch up. And so that's probably our single biggest piece that we have to deal with is track blockages.
But in comparison to other cities, though, ironically, when we first started in our launch, unlike other cities, we didn't have as many issues of car blockage. And I think a lot of that is because we were testing for so long.
People got used
that people did get used to it.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's exciting to have it downtown. Let's hope this is the beginning of a much brighter transit future for the whole region. So,
we agree
congratulations.
with that. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's get that Jefferson line going and the Michigan line going at the same time.
At the same
How about
time.
that? How about that?
Good. Right?
Okay.